What's up, guys? Welcome to your 150th Android tutorial for the new Boston, and just want to say congratulations for getting this far. I know we've gone kind of quick in some places, been pretty boring lately, so I apologize for that. Just been trying to get all these tutorials done, and so my humor just went down the drain. But let's just try and keep going here. First thing, if you guys notice, I just deleted pretty much our get method, and we're just starting again brand new from within this class. We're going to actually parse some data from Twitter using JSON, which is JavaScript object notation, and we're just going to read some information from basically the JSON URL, which I'll kind of explain what it looks like and all that stuff as we go. But first, we're going to create a new method within our class that returns a JSON object. So we're just going to say public JSON object. It's the type that it's going to return, and we're going to call this last tweet, something like that. And we're going to get passed in a string that is going to be the user name, something like that. And we also want to throw some exceptions, so we're going to say throws client protocol exception, input output exception, and a JSON exception or JSON exception. Alright, so now that we have this method set up, we've got to add all of our imports. Control-Shift-O again, and it adds our imports for us, and we need some kind of a return statement that's going to return a JSON object. We'll get to that in a second. The first thing that we want to do again is have an HTTP client that's going to basically be a default, so we're going to set that up above our class so we can refer to it everywhere else. So HTTP client, and we're going to say this client is again, just keep things kind of familiar there. Then our onCreate method, we might say client is equal to new default HTTP client, just standard default client. Nothing new for the most part. Again, just add our imports. Alright, so now let's get into it. Basically, mainstream websites that use some kind of JavaScript, object notation or JSON allows that to be public, so people like us can pull some of the information and use it in our applications. And Twitter has a JSON that we can actually pull some information from, and you can search like Twitter JSON, and a lot of top few results will show you the actual website link that you guys can get some information from, and what type of JavaScript notation it is. For this one, what we're going to do is we're going to set up that URL above our class, because it's not going to change. So we're just going to say final static string, and we're just going to call this URL, something like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to refer to the JSON string called http://api.twitter.com/1/statuses/timeline.json. So that's the one that we're going to use. Again, you can just search in Google to find different types and see which, what it does. And for this one, it just kind of pulls up, I think, the last few tweets or something. And I'll get into what that website actually looks like, or what that URL string does, and all that good stuff as we go. But now what we want to do is we just want to build a string builder. So we're going to say string builder. We're going to call this one URL. And this one's lowercase URL, so it's different than our string. But we're going to set this equal to be a new string builder. And we're going to say URL within the parentheses. So basically what we're doing is using a string builder to build the string off of our JSON code or URL, whatever you guys want to refer to that as. And then what we're going to do is we're going to parse some data from that. But before we do that, I want to show you guys what this kind of looks like. So we're going to do that first. So give yourself a few spaces. We're just going to use again the HTTP get command, and we're just going to say get, and this is equal to new HTTP get, and then we're going to refer to our URL lowercase .toString. So again, nothing new for the most part, and that's probably it for this tutorial. We haven't done too much, but we do now kind of understand that some mainstream services like Twitter allow some JSON references that we can pull some data from and use. And our application actually doesn't do all of that work. It's Twitter that's doing the work, and we're just pulling some of the data. So that's probably the lesson for today. But so we're going to get into setting up this last tweet method to return a JSON object, and I'll catch you guys in the next tutorial. Have a good one.